So let's go ahead and move on here from the transfer portal stuff,
Mhm.
and want to talk about a commitment that Ohio State is projected to land here. Um, it looks like they've been crystal ball to get one of the most versatile players in the 2026 class. That's
Mhm.
PJ Dean. And the reason why I say he's versatile is because he can play both offensive or defensive line. It looks like Ohio State is looking to possibly put him on the offensive line, but he's a four-star kid. He is someone who has a lot of talent, and he is someone that Ohio State would love to get. He's 6'5", 305 pounds. He would be, he's listed as an interior offensive lineman. I'm sorry, he's 255, 6'5", 255. And he's from the state of North Carolina. And Ohio State is projected to land him over both Georgia and South Carolina. Georgia, you see they keep coming up when it comes to Ohio State recruiting battles, whether it's the transfer portal or for some freshmen. But
Mhm.
he's a guy who, if you watch his tape, he's someone that does a really good job of moving his feet. He can move guys back on the offensive line, and he really does a good job of not letting others kind of blow up the play. So, what are your thoughts on PJ? And I guess what are your thoughts on having them project him as an offensive lineman as opposed to a defensive lineman?
Yeah. So when I saw this the other day, I was like, okay, he's the offensive lineman. And I looked at his size and I said 255.
Yeah.
And so I asked on access, okay, is anyone gonna give me some information about this? And someone let me know this is probably going to be on Larry's head, like on Larry's hands, because he's probably going to be a defensive lineman. I said, oh, and then I started doing some more research, and I figured it out. Um, I do believe he's going to be recruited as a defensive lineman at Ohio State. I don't
Okay.
believe he's going to. I don't think he's going to be recruited as an offensive lineman. I think even though on 247 it may say Tyler Bowen right there, and it may say O line. I think today on 247 I saw him on as a D lineman today actually.
Mm-hmm.
So good
Yeah, I mean,
job.
obviously he can't play both, so he's either gonna have to stay at
Yeah,
that weight or gain like 40 pounds.
yeah,
So
yes, and gaining 40 pounds.
that's not hard at this program.
It might not be hard, man, but the problem is this: you got some of that has to be fat. How much is that? You like what? Well, you're gonna gain all that weight just to be a guard?
Yeah.
Even I mean, honestly, but you're not playing offensive line at Ohio State unless you're 290 plus. There's no way he's gaining all that weight. So,
Oh, you underestimate what Maradi can
maybe,
do
maybe he
adding
can't.
weight. You haven't seen the crumble cookie diet here.
Well, actually, if we want to play D line, maybe he gets like 275, 280.
Yeah,
My
he is
thing,
gonna have to gain weight either way.
yeah,
Yeah.
my thing is just that I think it's better to put the muscle on him than having to put fat on him. You can't have a muscle bound guard. That's not gonna work.
Yeah.
So but number 59 player in the country at North Carolina. Uh, I mean, if this is going to be a maybe it will be a joint effort because if the kid still wants to try and play offensive line, we should offer him that chance because he's ranked that high in the nation as an offensive line because clearly he can do the job.
Yep.
So it's gonna be interesting to see. I think I think he's a really good athlete. Clearly, if you can play offensive line, D line, you are. So get it done. It looks like they're going to. It looks like it's a waiting moment here. I gotta ask my boy Zeke about this. But
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's kind of wrapped up, but they're just waiting for him to make a final announcement here. But I am perfectly fine with whichever way. Okay, actually, here, let me ask you this: where do you think he's needed the most, offensive or defensive line?
Defensive line.
Correct. So that's kind of where I would like him to be.
Look, Caden Curry leaves this season.
And Kenyatta's gone too.
Kenyatta's gone. I think Kenyatta's gonna have the type of year to where he can go to the draft.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what McDonald looks like this season. Caden could, but I doubt he does that. Jason, yeah.
I mean, they might lose some guys in the transfer portal, but yeah, they need him. I think they need him more on the defensive line than the offensive line. But I do think it's interesting that, like you said, he's top 60 recruit as an offensive lineman at 255. So he's obviously got some skills, and he's got a great set of hands, which you can see in his tape. So it'll be interesting to see where he ultimately ends up.
Look at these real quick. Philip says LJ coaching style seems more of a fit for current pro game than college, if that makes sense. I kind of do agree with that because of the way they play. The way that the D line doesn't really push forward, they kind of play contain, which they do that a lot more in the NFL now because quarterbacks are running. But what do you think about that?
I think that, I mean, his style has always been to develop guys for the NFL game. Mm-hmm. Like that's why they were able to develop so many first round guys. I mean, both Bosa's, Chase Young, hell, I mean, even guys this year. I mean, Jack and JT are probably going in the second round. Like he's done a good job of developing guys who can not only play at that first round level, but also play in the league for a while. So he's been good for quite a while. But I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say it's necessarily fit for the pros. I think it's fit to develop for the pros, which is what you want out of your defensive line coach. I just think now at his age, I just don't think he wants to go on the road and recruit as much as what's necessary, which is, understandable when you're 70 plus years old.
Then this is a good point. Like, and you made this kind of too. You said Draymond Jones from 240 to 295. I think it happens to Dean. And I saw Bill you put in there. He's Draymond Jones 2.0, but he said before that. So I can see that.
I mean, if that ends up being the case, I would love that. Draymond was always in the right place at the right time.
Dog. Robert Howard. This topic is extremely sensitive to me. I have chosen to just say nothing when it comes to LJ and brought up in. It's a sensitive topic between Buckeyes. It is. I mean, Ryan Davis is a sensitive topic. I mean, and honestly, my feelings on LJ go back and forth. They really do. There's days I'm like, well, he's still recruiting at the top, but then there's other days I'm like, well, he ain't recruiting like he should be.
Exactly. Well, you know what? I thought this year would have been the perfect year for him to go right off in the sunset after winning a title, but once they went back-to-back natties, maybe his job will be done.
Wait, so Garrison, why did you cancel your visit? Richie had you as a lock to flip. What do you mean? You mean in Ann Arbor? No, I didn't go, man.
I was about to ask if you went. I was gonna ask what your firsthand thoughts were of that shit show.
Oh, well, you know what?
Let's save that to the end. Well, let's save that for the end.
We'll save it to the end because I actually listened to the whole game. So and a lot of people didn't have the broadcast, and I had it.
So, all right. Well,